Good morning, everybody. I thought I'd do a video in here again because, you know, when I sit by the window, it's all a bit sort of, I mean, you know, because you can't really see my bedroom very well, and the kind of the shadows, shadowy place that, you know, my bedroom. Anyway, I just wanted to do a reality check this morning because this weekend has been peculiar in that I've been bringing up and alchemizing loads of inner shit, but at the same time my perception has been expanded almost like an elastic band, as in okay, Anika, because, you know, guys, I always talk about you know, consciousness, awareness, and so forth and so on, and the hijack. Well, in my last video, as you know, I talked about imagination and what I think it might be, a creative, manifesting, creating faculty, and also this kind of ties into reality, because people, you know, what we find ourselves in every day, what we're living every day is a very mundane, very boring, very dull, very bleak, very vice-like experience, when actually all around us are the remnants of, well, what was once a magical world. Now, if you think about, say, J.R.R. Tolkien, who wrote Lord of the Rings, the Ring of Fire, whatever. God, it is early in the morning, people. I always feel a bit silly at this hour. Anyway, right, Lord of the Rings, J.R.R. Tolkien's, the man became utterly obsessed with his own narrative, his own story. And I mean, he wrote chronology after chronology after chronology about the people of Middle-earth and the elves and the this and the that and the man of Numenor and this, that and the other. And, you know, because this happened, because it actually happened, because it's real. And he, deep down, he knew this. He tapped into something. And the stories that he told actually happened. Yeah. There are giant tree stumps dotted around the earth. You know, the people, the scientists, you know, the experts, claim that they are mountains or defunct volcanoes, but they're not. They are tree stumps, trees that were hacked down, but these trees measure miles in diameter. So these would have been fucking enormous trees that once existed. There are giants and giant animals and giant trees that have basically been, what's the word? They're stone, they were turned into stone. Just like the witch did in, what's it called? The Wizard of Oz, right? They tell us that in the films, in the books, it's all around us, even in ads. The truth is dotted all around us, you know, in the narrative that surrounds us, in actual physical fact, it's all around us. There were the people with giant skulls, you know, look up Brian Forrester, F-O-E-R-S-T-E-R, Brian Forrester, he's doing a lot of work with that. These people, they had red hair, blonde hair, lived around Peru, but they came from somewhere else. And they had massive skulls. You look at the ancient Egyptian people, the pharaohs, obviously, who had these headdresses, these caps that were You know, the elongated skulls, I mean, they're everywhere, you know. Our reality is fucking enormous, okay? It's not what we were given to believe it is, and we are not what we were given to believe we are. Basically, our perception was taken and it was put in a vice. It was, this is all you are. The darkness, you know, the little grey creature which has been showing up again in my dreams. It permeates everything. It is at the centre of it all. It's this little grey sucking creature. The sickness, it permeates everything, and it has done this to us. It has made us very, very small. It has told us that, oh, your imagination and the fairy tales and the dragons and the giants and the fairies and the witches, none of that's real. That's just your imagination and it doesn't mean anything. And stop imagining. Be good at maths and just do as you're told. Be small. That's the way. Pay your taxes. Work hard. The lies. And what have we become? We have become these stunted nothings. And this is, and you know, of course, that is what gives rise to consumerism, because deep down we know that we are so much more than this. We are magical beings, you see. So very deep down, those of us who are soul know this. You see, I've known this. All my life I've known that, and all my life I had this sense of emptiness, of being deeply agonized, deeply frustrated, because I felt as if I was, I don't know, you know, like hobbled, like you've got something around your ankles and you can't walk properly. That is kind of how I felt all my life, you know. And I was always very imaginative, and I was always having visions and dreams, and I was always being told by the people around me that I was foolish and delusional and stupid and mentally ill. And you know, my mother even tried to put me on medication, which I would surreptitiously chuck. I would never take it, because I knew that I was right, and I just knew beyond the shadow of a doubt that the world in which I lived was but a poor facsimile of something that once was. You know, and this is the truth. This is the truth. Fairies are real. Giants were real. You know, the elongated skull people, all these beings that come from all over. The tall Nordics, the little greys, the Jinn, the Kami. We are living in a world that is full of evidence of something. And what I feel, obviously, because you see those trees that I talked about, and do look into this, by the way. There's a really cool YouTube channel, and I cannot for the life of me remember the name. If I come across it, I'll post it below. These giant trees, for example. Wow. I mean, they clearly are trees. You know, I've got, just a minute, where is it? Right here. I've got a petrified tree stump. As you can see, right there, that's it. It used to be a tree. Now these mesas, these so-called defunct volcanoes, would have to be hollow, but at the top they're like that. You see, at the top they are like that. They're flat, and the sides of them are all like, they are fucking trees that were chopped down, and only a giant, believe me, could have chopped these trees down, because seriously, 3, 4, 5 miles in circumference there, it's amazing. And you start thinking about that, you realize that there's no way that a tree like that could exist on a small ball, which supposedly we live on. We don't live on a small ball of earth at all. That is not the truth. I'm not so sure it's even a disc. I think it's perhaps something altogether other than that, and that the so-called other planets or other realities are actually very easily accessible However, I think that somehow perhaps the fall was some sort of massive cataclysm in which things got, I don't know, like, let's say you take all these different realities and chuck them in a ball and then go, and then, because there's evidence of cataclysmic shifts and mud floods, yes, and things just being where they really don't belong. Everything is out of sorts. And then the people with the elongated skulls are gone, the giants are gone, the fairies are gone, the jinn, they still exist but they are not here as such, and so forth and so on. And humanity is here, and we literally are kept like mushrooms in the dark, thinking ourselves to be like little ants, having to work hard and pay our taxes and be ambitious and achieve something which is all fucking meaningless because we're not actually living truth. We are like this, and it fucking frustrates the fuck out of me. It has done all weekend. I've really just been like in a state of almost apoplexy about it, because I know beyond a shadow of a doubt. What's more, I remember clearly being there when something terrible happened and the trees became solid, or rather, you know, trees have bark. Well, they never used to. They never used to have bark. Trees were quite soft and undulating. Trees were very alive. Trees used to move. Not in the wind, but actually move the way we move. We were able to communicate with animals and plants, not verbally, but telepathically. We lived, there were all these different beings, the blue-skinned people with the yellow hair were there. And I mean, actually I'll show you guys, shall I? There. Okay, right, and then there's one more as well. There. Okay, so ever since I was a child, you see, I've seen all these things in my dreams and in my visions, and I've always known that this is an abomination, and it annoys me, and it really has me, I can feel it in my gut. You know, there were very tall, red-haired people, and there's one of them that keeps showing up in my dreams and in my visions, called Beltom. He was very tall, he was about 10 feet tall. There were much taller giants even than him, but this guy was massive, and he had this bright orange hair and very blue eyes, and he used to make these tiny little toys with hands that are like as big as this table here. He keeps showing up, you know. And also in New Zealand, now New Zealand is a very interesting place. There is a woman called Gabby Plum. Gabby Plum, Plum with a double M at the end. Now if you go to her website on YouTube, YouTube channel, Gabby Plum, MM, she's got some really interesting videos. One of them, Skeletons in a Closet Part 1, The Redheads. Go and look that up. They will tell you about the little people that used to exist there, and that the local people can still hear them high up in the mountains, but nobody ever sees them, but they're still there. Dragons existed, you know. So then I came across a documentary the other day. And it's, now we're looking at sort of the time where supposedly Stonehenge was built. But instead we're in Germany, not in Britain. And there's all these settlements that, again, the archaeologists and the experts say, oh, this shows how wonderful people were living and everybody was egalitarian, and, you know, nobody owned any property, and like they were all a bunch of fucking new age hippies or something. But in fact what we have is we have these concentration camps of barracks in a grid formation, right? So we've got these long barracks like that, surrounded by a massive wall of wood with pikes on, and shitloads of evidence of child ritual sacrifice. Oh yeah. This is in Germany. We're talking maybe 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 years ago. Nobody can quite say. So this is where something already was very, very wrong. This is all happening in the fall. There is Göbekli Tepe as well, as a very interesting site which seems to have literally, you know, Sodom and Gomorrah, these types of stories, as in a great cataclysm happened. It ripped the fabric of reality apart and chucked everything back together again in a weird sort of way. There was a massive trauma. There was a great deal of self-hate. The little grey creature entered the equation. And we started hating ourselves, and we started being terrified, and but I'm powerless, as in, you know, Adam and Eve being kicked out of the garden, and we're naked and we're powerless. You know, all these stories that permeate our reality, you know, that should not be taken literally, but they should be looked at as different versions, likes, as it were, of something that happened that made us what we are today, this disempowered nothing creature that we are not this way, you know. All these organic portals, all this fakery entered our reality, which is the, you know, the veil, because the minute that comes down, because we heal our consciousness, you see, it disappears, because they're not real. All these people that come from nowhere, they're not here today, yet tomorrow dawns, and all of a sudden there's like another, I don't know, 2,000 people in Plymouth that weren't here today. It's a bit like that. I mean, you see them everywhere, just waddling around, you know, with absolutely nothing going on whatsoever. Working hard and paying their taxes and obeying the law. Calling the police if they see their neighbour hasn't got their TV licence or is smoking a doobie, you know, something like that. It's appalling. I mean, really, it's a prison reality, it's a hijack reality, it's the reality of the little grey creature. I'm a bit rambly today, people, I do apologise, but I felt so acute and urgent and frustrated and angry as well, because, hey, this is all fucking wrong. And, you know, yeah, imagination is memory as well, you see. It is a memory, it is in there, and I'm sure all of you are familiar with this feeling of this isn't right, I should be telepathic, I should have this ability, I ought to be able to do that. We ought to be able to go here and there. This feeling that the known land masses of this so-called globe are very finite feeling, and that isn't real, that isn't right, because they used to be able to go on here and there. And what about that place where the sea was made of liquid gold and the trees were blue? What about those colours? I just can't seem to remember, you know. Our perception, our reality it's all fucking wrong. But of course, it's all falling apart, and that is the point I'm trying to make as well, is that it used to be like, this is how it is, you know, the 70s, the 80s, even the 90s, everybody was like unanimous, oh, this is how reality works, and oh, I'm really happy because I've achieved this and I've achieved that, and everybody played that fucking game. Now, so many people are awake, different levels of awakening for sure, you know, but really, wow, it's really quite amazing what is happening. It's unprecedented, and we are looking at high strangeness, we are looking at reality literally unraveling, where you look at the sky and it looks as if there was one sky and another sky, and somebody's put them together and glued them together, you know, because you can see the line in the middle, and you can see how, oh, that's like that and that's like that, and it doesn't fit and it's all wrong. Massive craft in the sky, I mean, big motherfucking Independence Day style craft everywhere. People are watching this shit, you know, weird lights, high strangeness abounds. Go and check out Security Team 10, you'll see, or Mr. MBB333. There's loads of other channels. You know, some of them post shit that just isn't real, and I don't know why they bother, because there's loads of actual real shit going on that's like really, really strange. So you don't need to make stuff up, people, but oh well, never mind. And then animal behavior. So there's this woman, and she works in I think they're called realtors in America, estate agents in England. Anyway, she's there typing away as you do, you know, working hard, paying taxes. And next thing you know, there's like 6 owls, different types of owls, different owl people, owl races or whatever. And they're all there, and they're just like looking at her going, hello, yes, we're here. And she's like, So she, you know, she documented that and put it on YouTube. I mean, it's amazing. It's just incredible. Or like zombie there. That's really weird as well. And I'm worried about that, because I love animals and I don't want animals to suffer in any way. What about this massive whale found in the middle of the Amazon? Yes, we know that there is animal mutilation going on as well, so that might be that. It could be. I mean, there's loads of nefarious shit going on, there's no doubt about it, but it isn't all bad. There is good stuff going on as well. There is. It won't do to just, you know, focus on the negative all the time, because it will suck you dry, and I don't do that. I just look at it all and kind of, yeah. The hum, that weird sound, I've not heard it myself, but here in England, up north in Yorkshire, people have heard it, and it's like almost, I mean, it reverberates. It's a big, big sound, you know, like metal against metal. Again, it reminds me of Independence Day, like a massive ship going, you know. Sometimes it comes from above, sometimes people can hear it coming from down below. So of course we've all heard about underground cities and tunnels and whatnot, so that's partially an explanation, but it doesn't explain, you know, that, but that's going on. There was on Mr. MBB333, you know, you've all heard of Stargate, so there's this massive literal Stargate in the sky. So again, I mean, are we manifesting this? Is it, you know, it's just incredible, isn't it? I mean, we see this on television, and are we then manifesting it, or is it literally that reality is coming alive? It's the veils are parting, revealing the truth. Little by little by little. Is that what is happening? Is it interactive? I believe it is. I do believe it is interactive. I believe that we are capable of infinite creativity and infinite manifesting, you know, and I think something like that is happening as well. I think there are many ingredients in the stew. Let's not forget, people, that for a very fucking long time in the Vice, we have only used a tiny percentage of our brain, and we've only used a tiny percentage of our DNA. And what we are dealing with as far as reality perception is concerned, the mind, as in, I mean, if you're going to approach it with a rational mind, then forget it, forget it. That's not going to work. The mind can't go there. The mind will judge it, it will shrink from it. It's conditioned to do that, and it's only your shadow mind anyway, so that is no good. It has to be approached with an open mind and an open heart. It has to be approached with, well, with genuine humility, that your little tiny world, your little tiny reality is a lie. Your life is a lie. What you thought you were is a lie. You need to allow the explosion to happen. We all do. We have to allow it to happen. Let's allow it to blast apart this fucking lie, this fucking fake reality. Because miracles, wonders and magic is here. it always was. We just couldn't see it. We just weren't aware of it, and we couldn't see it, and we thought we were this. We are so much bigger than that, people. We are so incredibly expansive, so infinite, so amazing, so wonderful, so capable. And I bet you any money that we are starting to use more of our brain, and I bet you any money that our DNA is developing and being activated day by day by day. And all we need to do is keep working at it, keep going within, keep working on our consciousness, keep working on that perception, keep imagining, keep dreaming, keep following the synchronicity. And as long as we do that, it's all going to explode into incredibleness. I believe that with all my being and all my soul, because I can feel it. So I think that's it. Let me just go over my notes. Yeah, I mean, these fucking archaeologists, idiots. So they found several of these settlements in Germany, you know, and literally like concentration camps, like Dachau, grids of long, you know, like wooden, what do you call them, buildings anyway, like that, you know. And these people were all, you know, there was no, nobody owned anything, and everybody was working together and very happy, but, you know, they would hand over their children for sacrifice, but that's okay, because they were happy to do so. People are so full of shit, these organic portal experts. Let's stay the fuck away from them, shall we? Yeah. No, that's about it for today, I think. I just had to get it off my chest. Amazingness, people, amazingness. Let's be open to it. Let's be open to the magic. I can hear the explosions going off as reality is beginning to fall apart. It's not reality at all, is it? It's a fucking lie. Toodaloo, people.